Now, the people are taking the church house to the courthouse, specifically Donnie McClurkin. According to Giuseppe Corletto's 15-page civil lawsuit, he alleges that Donnie McClurkin raped him over a period of years. Now, here is the breakdown. This is a civil suit. These That means that there are claims, not charges. And Giuseppe wants a jury trial. And here are the three claims that he must prove: sexual assault, sexual battery, and gender motivated violence acts. So basically, sexual assault is a category. Sexual battery is a specific crime. It doesn't have to include penetration. That's touching, raping, so on and so forth. So there are three claims that Giuseppe is alleging happened to him, and he has come to collect. According to Giuseppe, child, when Donnie McClurkin fell down on his knees, he did not get back up. As a matter of fact, he got down on his knees several times without his consent. Going all the way back going all the way back to 2003, Giuseppe attended one of his church services in New York, and it was a church service that it was held outside. And after the service, he was introduced to Donnie himself, and Donnie told him that he could help him with his homosexuality. So at this time, let's think about it. It's 2003. Same-sex marriage is not even legal. People are trying to pray the gay away. Nobody is, really in 2026, things are a lot more lax than they were in 2020 in 2003. People are really being hypocritical in the church house. There are a lot of DL men, or men who are not out the closet, in the church house. From the pool pit to the back door, it was a lot of hypocrite behavior. And so at this time, Giuseppe is struggling with his sexual identity. He's a 21-year-old man seeking guidance, seeking help, because at this time, right, pray the gay away was a thing. Conversion therapy was a thing. People were not living so freely. People were made to live with shame if they were gay. So this is around this time. So that means that there was there were maybe not that many communities. You definitely can come out in public, or not come out as what you want. And what I mean by come out, I'm not saying, hey, reveal you're gay, but it's just it was taboo. A lot of people didn't want to talk about it. Even in 2003, people still were not championing behind homosexuality. So after reading Donnie's book, Giuseppe goes to attend his church, and his book was, Donnie has always talked about being gay, or, really being delivered from it, suppressing his feelings, so on and so forth. So when he met Donnie in 2003 at a church event, he started attending the church. And what I found interesting was, while he was attending the church, 3 weeks in, according to the lawsuit, one of Donnie's ministers would pop up at his house. Yes, this man is looking for deliverance at the church. And all of a sudden, the same thing he's trying to get away from is coming to his doorstep, showing up at his house unannounced. And apparently, Giuseppe must have had some type of impact, because Donnie noticed that the man wasn't even coming to church anymore, right? Now, this was after only meeting him one time, according to this lawsuit. This was after meeting him that one time and started going to his church, but he was only going to the church for 3 weeks, according to this lawsuit. So Donnie calls Giuseppe and is asking him, hey, like, why are you not at church? Giuseppe says, hey, I mean, one of your ministers keeps popping up in my house. That's why I'm not coming to church anymore. Well, all of a sudden, Donnie says, is handled, and this was a test from God that he passed. So because Giuseppe did not act on or further entertain the minister's I guess advances or so on and so forth, Donnie told him that he passed the test from God. Again, back in this time, that language was normal. That harmful language was normal, unfortunately. So he comes back to the church, still 2003. He becomes Donnie's executive assistant. So right now we are establishing mentee-mentor. Mentor-mentee relationship. Now, when Donnie told him that, it was handled with the minister, that's given like protector. That's given savior. That's given, safe haven. That's given I'm laughing because I wrote a book and a woman in the I didn't use a real name. I used safe haven. Anyway, so Yoshi, stop. Child, you have a dog who licks himself. Oh my God. Anyway, at this point, we have the mentor and mentee relationship being established. Okay. So that means, there's reverence, there's authority, there's admiration. Okay. So after he starts being his executive assistant, one of the instances that he lays out in the lawsuit. Side note, there are about 8 or 9 instances that Carletto he alleges that happening. And one of the incidents took place in 2000 and it doesn't have a date. But he says he took a business trip with Donnie to the Bahamas, okay? While he was in the Bahamas, Donnie attempted to coerce, because this is actually language from the lawsuit. He alleges that Donnie attempted to coerce him into having sex with another man. And so what Donnie would do, according to this lawsuit, was that he set up a male model in Carletto's room. The male model was sent to entice and to ultimately have sex with Carletto. Because Carletto declined, he stated that Donnie told him, "You passed the test. You passed the test." According to Carletto, Donnie allegedly set up a male sex, a model. I'm sorry, Donnie allegedly set up a male model in his room to coerce him into having sex. Carletto declined, and after he declined, Donnie said, "You passed the test." Okay, according to this lawsuit. So then it goes into 2007. So right here we have we have authority, mentor, mentee, and then we have attempted coercion, right? According to the lawsuit, coercing him to have sex with somebody he does not want to have sex with. And when he wins or when he declines or whatever, and I say win because Donnie said he passed the test, right? So we got attempted coercion. Okay. 2007, they take another business trip to California. And this time it's alleged that Donnie's girlfriend was on a trip with him. Now, it does not name the girlfriend, but the only girlfriend that I know of Donnie to at least be with publicly is what's her name? Is it Natalie Mullen, I believe? She's a gospel singer. But again, that's the only woman that I know of him to have been with around, because they were together for a while, even had rumors of being engaged, but they were not engaged. Both of them have discussed their relationship. But so, and the engagement rumors were probably around, I believe, 2016, 2015, but this is 2007. I'm not sure how long they had been together, but they say that some woman was with them. Now, I'm not saying that Nicole is even included in this or she's even that woman. I'm just saying that's the only woman that I knew of Donnie being with publicly. Okay. So 2007, they head to California. Carletto says that they are in Donnie's room, and Donnie tells Carletto to take off his shoes, according to this lawsuit. He says he takes off Donnie's shoes, and he alleges that when he took off Donnie's shoes, Donnie took off his pants. And when I read that, I was like, was he about to wash his feet? Like they did in the Bible. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So he takes off his shoes. Donnie takes off his pants. And after that, he says that Donnie starts to touch him and kiss him and basically, ultimately, inserts his penis into his anus and proceeds to rape him. Now, while this is going on, Carletto is pleading and begging and asking him, please stop, please stop, please stop, according to this lawsuit. Donnie doesn't stop. He keeps going until he ejaculates, according to the lawsuit. The next morning, Carletto alleges that he confronted Donnie about it. Because, you confront people when you feel violated. He confronted Donnie about it. And he alleges that Donnie acted clueless. Donnie acted clueless, according to Carletto. Like he didn't even know what he was talking about. Then the lawsuit states that after acting clueless, Donnie tells him, well, it's your fault that I raped you. This whole incident is your fault, according to this lawsuit. And after that happened, that's manipulation and gaslighting, if that indeed happened. So far we have Carletto seeks out guidance in 2003 because he's struggling with his own sexual orientation. Donnie says he can help him. He attends the church for 3 weeks. A minister keeps from Donnie's church randomly pops up at this man's house, allegedly. He quits going to the church. Donnie noticed that he is not attending church anymore. Donnie calls him and say, hey, where you at? Carletto tells him what's going on. Donnie says, don't worry about it. This has been handled. You've passed the test. Come back to church. He goes back to church. And so now he's not even just a regular church member. Now he's an employee because now he's Donnie's executive assistant, according to the lawsuit. They travel. They go to the Bahamas. Donnie tried to coerce him into having sex with a male model. He declines. Donnie tells him, hey, you passed the test. 2007, they go on a business trip to California. And now Donnie has allegedly raped him in his hotel room. And while all of this is happening, Carletto says that they also would have Pray the Gay Away sessions. Well, that looked like Donnie, was praying for him, put his hand on his head, another hand on his genitals without his consent. That's what Carletto happens. So while he's being, allegedly coerced into having sex with people, allegedly raped, being told he's passing tests, he's also being groped during prayer, according to this lawsuit. Okay? So 2008, Carletto leaves. He say, they say, get your hat and coat and leave. Carletto gone. He goes to work for a Christian broadcast network, but unfortunately, because Donnie is a gospel singer, he still runs into Donnie. They still see each other. Okay? Now, fast forward to 2013. And we're going to fast forward to 2013 because this is where the email that was heavily mentioned when this lawsuit was first reported. If you recall, a lot of publications never put up the actual email. I'm just assuming that the lawsuit, the actual filing of it wasn't available because somebody somewhere when reporting usually puts up the lawsuit. And I didn't see it on New York County's website at the time. Could be wrong, but I'm just saying. So we go from 2003 to 2007, 2013. Now, again, 2008, he leaves the church. Well, what happens is he left the church in 2008. And in between that time, Carletto goes to work for an airline company, right? And Donnie allegedly pops up at the airport with Carletto's friends on one incident. In another incident, he popped up at Carletto's hotel. According to the lawsuit, Donnie got the information from Carletto's friend. Okay. So even before the 2013 situation and after he initially left, there are claims that Donnie, with the help of Carletto's friends, would just pop up places where Carletto was at. Which kind of, let's think about that for a second. This man is, attempting to coerce me, raping me, and my friends still give him still gives him a means to get in contact with me. That's what this is. Some people are saying maybe the friends didn't know. And that's, I've seen claims that say that, and that's true. Some people are saying, well, if his friends gave Donnie information on him, then maybe Donnie wasn't raping him. Those comments have been online as well. But regardless of what's actually true, according to this lawsuit, his friends was a bridge for Donnie to get in contact with him. Carletto was trying to get away. He left the church, but his friends kept giving Donnie information. Okay. For instance, in 2012, Donnie popped up and Donnie popped up at Carletto's hotel. And according to the lawsuit, Donnie begged him to have sex one last time. One last time is in quotations. So when you hear one last time, what does that make you think of? Right? He told Donnie no. He fell asleep and woke up to Donnie masturbating and touching him and ended up raping him again. Okay. So in 2013, now on the lawsuit, they have these two things listed out of order. So it makes it like I'm going backwards because it's just how it was listed on the lawsuit. So around Thanksgiving or Christmas, according to the lawsuit, it literally says around Thanksgiving or Christmas. Well, no, on or about after this, around Thanksgiving or Christmas of 2013, Carletto was living in Boston, Massachusetts. And Donnie showed up to the gate of the airport with his friends, with two of Carletto's friends. Again, remember I told you how those friends were like seemed to be abridged for Donnie to interact with Carletto. And refused to leave, allegedly, until Carletto agreed to go out with them. So he ultimately coerced the defendant. Carletto was ultimately coerced by the defendant and to allow him to stay inside of Carletto's room. He again allegedly forcibly touched and groped Carletto. Now, all without his consent. When that happened, so that's Thanksgiving or Christmas. After 2012, right, when he popped up at the hotel, this is Thanksgiving or Christmas of 2013. But in June of 2013, Donnie convinced Carletto to show back up to join the church again. So Carletto left the church in 2008. Donnie pops up on him in 2012 with the help of his friends, allegedly, rapes him. Well, no, I'm sorry. Well, sexually assaults him, ropes him, touches him, so on and so forth. And then 2013, after 2012, Donnie convinces him to join the church again. So at this point, 2003, Carletto was 21. 2013, he's 31. So that's 10 years later, right? So they go to Niagara Falls, New York. This is after he's come back from the church. This is in June 2013, but before the Thanksgiving or Christmas incident where he was sexually assaulted, right? So this is the email. Back to the email. I did all that to say back to the email. Carletto and Donnie were sitting in the hotel room, and Donnie starts to touch him without his consent. At this point, it's the same old, same old. This time, Carletto pushes him off of him. Carletto pushes Donnie off of him. He was not having it, okay? And according to the lawsuit, this was June 26, 2013. And June 28, 2013, Donnie sends him an email. And I want to talk about some of the quotes from the email. Let me find it. Because some of the language that Donnie uses is just wanting to sleep together and hug occasionally, saying, hold on. This is the email. I forced myself on you, roping on you. I was horribly wrong trying to force you into something that you were not consistently saying no to. I am the actual epitome of a desperate, dirty old man, pawning and groping a young man. You never really touched me like that at all. You just wanted to sleep together and hug occasionally. My loneliness is mine to deal with. My desire for you is not right in the way that I'm feeling and handling it. And he go on to say, I love you and want you to be who you're supposed to be. I will work on me. I hate being lonely and alone, but I have to go through it. And not like this. Not like this is in all caps. Let's move on from here. See you later this or next week, Pastor. So throughout this email, Donnie is consistently saying how he's alone. He's lonely. He hates being alone. He's lonely, but it's not Carletto's problem. not his cross to bear. Okay? And what I find interesting is some of the language that he used in the email, saying things like something that you were not. I was horribly wrong trying to force you into something that you were consistently saying no to, right? You were consistently saying no to. Then he turns around and says, you never really touched me like that at all. You just wanted to sleep together and hug occasionally. So with this email, there is acknowledgement of groping. There's acknowledgement of Donnie doing things that Carletto consistently said no to, right? And then with the phrase, you never really touched me like that at all. You just wanted to sleep together and hug occasionally. What could that possibly mean? When you pair that with one last time, what do those things mean? You remember I said a little while back, I said, according to the lawsuit, Donnie asked Carletto, can we sleep together one last time? So let's just think, let's just say, theoretically, was Carletto and Donnie McClurkin cuddle buddies? Like, did they literally just cuddle and not have sex? Were they keeping each other like bodies warm? Nothing sexual sometimes, until maybe allegedly Donnie decided to take it the extra step and rape him. Because when I hear one last time, and then I hear you wanted to sleep together, you wanted to hug occasionally, and then I hear I was forcing myself on you and trying to make you do something you were consistently saying no to. When I think of it, maybe, a couple of theories. One of the theories may be, hey, Carletto, didn't want to have sex with him. He just wanted to cuddle. Like a virgin. They just like to kiss. That don't mean she want to have sex. Now, that don't mean he want to have sex. He wants some type of feeling, but he ain't ready to go all the way there. So that's just one theory. The other theory is Donnie could have just been putting this language in the email just so it could kind of create some type of friction when you play the blame game. Did he acknowledge groping? Yes. He also implied that Carletto liked the closeness to some degree, right? So those are just a couple of theories that come to my mind when I think of it. But again, when this lawsuit first came out, this email was referenced repeatedly because there is an acknowledgement that something inappropriate happened. It was an acknowledgement that groping did happen. It was an acknowledgement that you were saying consistently no to, right? But then you turn around, but then Donnie turned around and say, hey, sometimes you just wanted to hug and sleep together occasionally. One can say that sounds like a contradiction. So, yeah, he acknowledged it, but it almost sounds like while acknowledging it, he was trying to also, or one could argue that he was trying to also paint a picture to where there was some type of consent here. I didn't just climb on top of this man, right? So those are just a few theories that one could argue, or just, when we thinking about consent and coercion. The same thing happened in the Diddy and Cassie trial and Jane Doe. Consent, coercion. I don't think people realize, and this is just me speaking in general, I don't think people realize that there is a thin line in certain cases when it comes to consent and coercion or manipulation, because you liked it for a lot of the theories, especially during the Diddy trial, and one of his lawyers basically stated in so many words, when did it become coercion? When did it become force? The 96 time? How was he supposed to know she didn't want to do it this time? So that's why I say, when you taking things to the court of law, it could be a paper thin line between coercion and consent. Something to think about. So then after 2013, the lawsuit jumps to 2015, right? And in 2015, it says that Carletto showed back up to the church seeking guidance for his mental health, right? He was having some mental health issues, and he sought out Donnie McClurkin. And the lawsuit alleges that Donnie engaged in sexual misconduct. And that is the last instance that's outlined in the last incident that's outlined in this lawsuit. One thing that we, regardless of what we may think happened or didn't happen, this lawsuit is just another look at power, money, and coercion. But this time we have religion sitting in the middle, right? There's no secret that when you are a 21-year-old and you have a mentee or a mentor, that establishes some type of authority. You have some type of respect. You have some type of reverence, right? So you're going to listen to what they say. One can say to what extent, and then two, not to mention, we don't know Carletto's background. Sometimes when people are raised a certain way, they are prone and susceptible to certain situations and circumstances. And when people feel like they, act like they care about them. Again, I'm just throwing all kinds of theories out there. We don't know, but there is a continuous theme in the industry. It's power, coercion, and sex. What we seem to agree or disagree on is it coercion? Is it forced? Or is it not? Right? And what happens next is Donnie has so many days to respond. This lawsuit was filed on the 2nd. I just looked up the information, and if I interpreted it correctly, he was just served on the 15th. Like you filed and you physically serve people with the papers. As of now, there is no attorney listed for Diddy in the system, but an attorney did come out and give a statement, denying the allegations. Donnie came out and emphatically denied the allegations, so on and so forth. Carletto is seeking a jury trial, and he wants punitive and compensatory damages. Compensatory is, this is how much I lost because of this ordeal. So if I didn't, if I missed work, my medical bills, therapy bills, whatever, this is how much I've lost because you did this to me, or as a result of something happening to me. Punitive damages is, this is going to be a tax because you are such a nasty person or a nasty corporation that you did XYZ to said person who is suing you, now we're going to give you a tax for being malicious. Just because you did business bad, just because you were a bad person, because you didn't make the right decisions, because you were malicious, essentially, now we're going to punish you for being malicious. He doesn't have a number, right? So the jury can decide what number. During the trial, if it even goes to trial, the lawyers can determine. They could literally say, oh, like Megan's lawyer mentioned something about $4 million like during his closing when the trial between Milagro and Megan. Megan to get nowhere near that, but they can, while arguing their case, they can state a number. So Corletto's attorney will be able to state how much he think. You should, while they crossing, examining, and closing, this is how much you should give my client. The jury can decide on their own how much they want to give somebody. They could literally just give him $1. Right? And as we look at this, and I think about the L.A. Reid and Drew Dixon case that settled on the first day of trial, didn't even go to trial. The same day it was scheduled to go to trial, they had said that there was a settlement. And if Donnie is listening to the Docket Diva, Donnie, if you're listening to the Docket Diva, let me tell you something. You might as well go ahead and settle. And I'm going to tell you why. People already believe it. Even though settling is not an admission of guilt or proven innocence, people already assume if you settle, you must be guilty. Right? They think you're guilty even if you don't settle. People still going, or in this case, liable, not guilty. Guilty is criminal, liable is civil. People going to think you did it. Anyway, even if you were to go to trial and they didn't find you liable of anything, somebody going to say you did, right? If you don't settle and seal these documents, there will be an autopsy of your life. Every single thing under the sun is going to come out. Everything is going to come out. They're going to get people who have nothing to do with this. They're going to find somebody who claims you did the same thing to them. Or you did the same thing to them, and they're going to put them on the stand to support their evidence. So the best thing for you to do to save a little piece of your career is to take L.A. Reid's route. Go ahead and settle and call it a day and continue to have the little piece of career. Because the more stuff comes out, the less people will be able to defend you, especially them church folk. Because, baby, they switch up. They switched up on Jesus. They'll switch up on you. Okay? So you should go ahead and settle. That's in your best bet, because it's not best interest. It's not about being right. It's about preserving your privacy, because when it come out, it's going to come out. And, unfortunately, public opinion moves faster than the court system. They rarely, if ever, line up. So people already think you're guilty. And if there is, in the fact that this email, now granted, we don't know if Corletto, what he responded to. We don't know if Donnie's email was a response. We don't know if Corletto replied. We don't know the full context of the email, but the fact that there is an email that acknowledges groping and saying that he consistently was saying no to things, I just don't see why you would go to trial. I think you need to use the good sense that God gave you. I don't see how going to trial will benefit you in any way. You should settle and seek to seal the details. Because we already know you struggle with homosexuality. Don't nobody even care you're gay. You the only one who care you're gay. Whatever. Don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. You the only one who cares. You care. You do. You care. We don't care, especially not in 2026. Okay. So as of now, we just have to wait and see what happens next. We're waiting for, we have the motions, we have the response, then we have motions, then we have the discovery, then we have maybe a settlement or a trial. But right now, that's all that I have. If I will be keeping up with this case. If y'all want to know more, please stay tuned. And also, if you want a deeper dive, I did a deeper dive of just about every single incident that Carletto discusses. It's on my Instagram at _LAJANEE_, and I'll link it below. But don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and thank you so much for watching. I'm LaJanae, the Docket Diva, and this is officially on my docket. Bye.